Okay, first thing we're going to do is we're going to come over here and we're going to take these screws out right here with that driver that I showed you. We are going to remove this little rubber piece here, and we're going to use it on the new rotor. We're going to take out that 12 millimeter there and there, but before we do that, we're going to get in here with a screwdriver and we're going to pry that piston back into the bore as far as it can go. And we're going to come up underneath here, and you'll see right there, there's a 17 millimeter bolt there. And there's also a 17 millimeter bolt up underneath here as well. We're going to take that out, and then we're going to take this mounting bracket off. We're going to bring it over to the bench, and we're going to clean this up underneath here where the hardware kit mounts onto. So, all right, let's bring our tools over and let's get started. First thing we're going to do is we're going to put our screwdriver in here like this. We're going to put it through so it comes out this side over here, and we're going to hold slight pressure just to push that piston back in all the way. And then we're going to push that piston all the way into the bore as far as it can go. And now we're going to check these slider pins to make sure that they slide correctly. You can see that these slide back and forth just the way it's supposed to. Alright, so we know that these sliders are working properly. We're going to take out that 12 millimeter bolt and that 12 millimeter bolt. We're not going to lose these because we are going to need to use these over again. Take our caliper off, just like that. And we're going to put this up on the top, right up here for now, like that. And these, let me bring you in there, I'll show you what I mean about those slider pins. You see how these slider pins work? What happens is the brake is applied, it pushes it together like this, and when you take your foot off the accelerator, or off the brake pedal, you see how they push back open? That's why it's imperative that you make sure that these clips are back in there where they're supposed to be. Alright, so now these are going to be trash. We're not going to use these over again. So it really does not matter. So we're just going to take them out like this. Same thing here. Brake pad. Take that out. Put that to the side for now. Same thing on this one here. We'll put this to the side as well. And then we're going to take out that 17 millimeter bolt there and the other 17 millimeter bolt right there. Okay, we'll just take this and we're going to take this over to the bench and we're going to clean these up right up underneath here. So we'll do that in just a minute. And that rotor, just position here. Okay, now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take out these screws right here. And the way we do that is we come in here with a driver like this, we put it on the screw, and we hit the screw pretty firmly to break it loose on the inside. Now, we're not putting this perfectly straight because we don't want to damage the threads. We're having a slight angle like that just to tap it loose. So let's do that. Okay, I just want to point this out to you. This just fell off while I was underneath here. I'm going to explain where this goes back on in a minute. Alright, so now we're going to tap this. And now we're going to use our driver to get this off. this driver does, this actually pushes the screw, I'll show you. What happens is this piece here pushes in and rotates at the same time to break it loose so you don't strip it out. All right, just like that. And we'll just I'm going to take the rotor off. Okay. And you can see it's all rusted inside. That's why we're changing it, because it was actually making a lot of noise. Okay, now we're gonna clean up this face inside here with a disc or sandpaper, whatever you have. So let me clean this up, and then we'll come right back. Okay, now we're going to put our rotor back on, and we're going to line up these holes here with the holes in the rotor. Okay, now we're going to just put that little piece right back there in. We'll just push it right back in where it belongs. Okay. Okay. Now this piece here, we're just going to put this back where it fell out, which is right up underneath the back here. I'll show you in just a moment. I'll show you. Right up underneath here, you have that little shim there and there. You have to make sure you put them back in the correct spots where they came off. All right. Okay. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to come over here and we're going to clean up this mounting bracket. And the way we're going to do that is we're going to take off this one. Now, I just want to point this out to you. You see how these are two different brackets here? This one and this one. Make sure you put them back the way they came off so you don't mix it up. We'll take that off like that. And we'll take this one off like this. And we're going to clean up all of that rust that you see inside there. We're going to clean up all of that rust inside there. Now the way we're going to do it is we're going to take a file like this and we're going to clean it up inside there. So let me clean that up and we'll come right back. Okay. So we just clean up every place that the shim is going to fit. I cleaned up this one and put it on already. All right, and then before you do anything to put it back together, you put a little bit of the silicone on here like this. And then we just take this shim or the hardware kit, put it on like this and push it. And that's it. It's on just the way it's supposed to be. Next thing we do is you take out these slide pins. You're going to do them one at a time. Now this rag has got brake cleaner on it, but you want to clean off any kind of residual grease that's on there, and then put a very slight bead of grease on the slider, put it back in, and you want to make sure that that slider pops all the way up into that little groove right there. Just like that. All right, we're going to take this one out here as well, clean it off. A little bit of silicone like that. Put it back in, made sure it popped up. And now every place that the brake pad is going to touch, you put a little bit of grease just like this, right? And the brake pad, you could either put the brake pad in on the bench or you could put it on the car. I'll just show you real quick. It goes in there just like this. And as you can see, it slides nice and freely now. All right, same thing on this side here. All right, and that is what it's supposed to look like when you put it back together. So let's put it on the car and then we'll continue back up on the car. Okay, then we take this and we put it up over the top there. Make sure you don't knock out those little pieces right there. Put it in there. And then we're going to catch the bolts. You're going to catch them both by hand. Before you tighten anything up, you want to make sure that you screw these in by hand as far as you can. Now make sure your shim didn't fall out. Now we see it's still in there, so we're good. Screw it down. Okay, and then after we have everything caught, we could tighten both of these up. Now there is torque specs on these bolts here. I am going to torque them just so you know, but I just want to show you how to put these slider pins back in here, or the slider clips back in, I should say. All right, so let me grab the sliders and we'll continue. Now, to put these, I'm sorry, not sliders, spreaders, these clips here. To put these in sometimes is a little difficult, and I'm going to show you why. You put them on here, like this. And as you're trying to work, you see how to keep pushing open? I'm going to show you the way I do it. Take the clip back off. We're just going to put these to the side for a minute. Okay, we're going to take our caliper down here. And we're going to do a little bit of work on that now. Every place that the brake pad is going to touch, you're going to put a very slight bead of silicone on here. So we're going to do it on the piston as well as the metal bracket right here. Okay? And what I do is I just take this and put it over the top, like that. And we're going to catch one of the bolts that hold the caliper to the mounting bracket. Alright, and we're just going to take this and swivel this up to the top just like that. And now we can work in here. Like this, it goes into the little hole there. And here as well. And then we're going to do the same thing down the bottom. Just like that. See how we're there? And then you just put this over the top. And then we'll just turn that, put it in there, and that's it. And then we're going to catch our other bolt. Now if you're trying to put this bolt in and you can't get it to screw in here, that means you just have to turn your slider just a little bit. Alright? The same thing up top. And now we're going to tighten up the bolts on top. Okay, again, there's torque specs on this. which I will torque after we finish this job before it leaves. But you can see already, you see right in here? You see how the brake pads are pushed away from the rotor, so they're not coming in contact with it? That keeps the drag from overheating the brake pads and causing any kind of squeaking noises. All right, so let's go over what we did. So, what we did is we cleaned up the face underneath here where the rotor fits onto. We cleaned it up so that there's no more rust underneath there. We installed our 2 Phillips head screws on there. We put our mounting bracket back on. We tightened up that 17 millimeter there and the one down on the bottom here as well. We installed new hardware right here, as you can see. We changed the hardware kit inside here, and we lubricated every place that the brake pad is going to touch. Everywhere that the brake pad touches, we put a little bit of lubricant on there as well. We lubricated every place on the caliper that's going to touch into the brake pad here and here, as well as the piston back inside there. We made sure our slide pins are back in their lock position right there, and also there. And then we tightened up that 12 millimeter here and here. All right, so that's it. Brake job there is now done.